How's that? How's that been going, man?
It's been awesome, dude.
I remember the last time I talked to you, you were like, "Dude, I don't have any like stuff in there. Like everything's in boxes." Like, do you have furniture now?
Yeah, we have furniture and all that. It was like because I unpacked everything and then I took a flight right out to LA right after that.
Yeah,
So
man.
didn't unpack anything, but no, the house is looking good now. Um, and
What
I am
is that like a river behind you, or can you like? Do people have like little boats on it, or what?
yeah, like we have people have boats and stuff. So we have like we have like a little canoe, like little we have like a little boat. Everyone else has some really rich like looking boats and stuff. So
That's
we
funny,
got on a bubble.
dude. Are you going up to Are you going up to Seattle in a couple of weeks? Are you gonna be up
Yeah,
there?
dude, super stoked.
Yeah, we're gonna learn some stuff. So, all right, it's recording, which is kind of cool. We can just record this thing, and people can watch it later. But I wanted to do this for two reasons. First off, like selfishly, I wanted to get a chance to pick your brain a little bit, and then I know there's a bunch of people out there who are just like getting ready for the summer. It's like go time, right? Like I look down at our calendar, and we have like something like 5 or 6 weeks left before the summer. Like it's nuts.
Yeah,
It's like you get back from company trip and like bam, you got to jump right in a little bit. Um, so there's like think about somebody who is in one of three places, right? The first place is they're like brand new, they're opening up, right? Like maybe they've ran a branch before, maybe they've ran a not previous office before, but they're opening up fresh, right? Like you've done that a couple of times.
yeah. Branch, then district again out over here.
And you originally opened up in where'd you run your branch?
Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So like an
And
hour with Nashville.
and that's where you opened your district, right?
Yep. Yeah, I looked up the population of Murfreesboro. Population for my district was 116,000.
116,000. I love it. And then moved out to the West Coast in what was that? Last January? When did you do that?
Yeah, like February, like we moved all of our stuff and then we went on a company trip.
Okay, so right before company trip.
Yeah. So I ran my first training probably like this week, I think.
Do you remember what that was like opening up again?
A mess. I remember the whole of committing first, figuring out later. So like Dave would be like, because you talk to your DVMs a lot. So like I talked to Jameson and Dave, and I remember like as a branch and district, Dave was just like run interviews. Your office doesn't have to look good, and so I have all my stuff piled into like one room, and like I remember my district, I had 3 rooms, but I had to have these dividers up, and all my boxes and everything was behind the dividers. So I remember the last person I accepted, I shook their hand, they walked out. When they closed the door, I guess the impact from the door hitting, it made the dividers all fall, and my whole mess was just like right in front of me. And I was like,
It revealed what was behind
yeah, I
the
was like,
closet,
good
the curtain
thing they
door.
did not see this. Like my TV sometimes, like I remember I ran an interview like on a whiteboard that I had to hold up during my first interview. It's just, like things where it's just like your office doesn't have to be perfect your first interview. The main thing is just get your interviews going.
For sure. I recruited she ended up being my first assistant manager in the hallway. I ran the interview in some back closet because my carpets weren't put in. It was, man, yeah, just run them, right? Just get them up. And I think the second group of people are like maybe someone who's like maybe like me and you who's been through this is going to be your third, fourth summer as a manager. Running in a fourth summer.
Yeah, it's my fourth summer. Yeah, once as a brand.
So yeah, so you kind of get the layout of the land, and for that, it's like I think it's just like about improving, right? Or I don't know. I've got for me, it's about taking some leaps. But what are like? Do you have any main thrust this summer that you're doing differently than last summer, or some main things that you want to make sure like improve or that you get better at this upcoming summer?
My main thing is getting everything going very first week of May. I mean, momentum now, but just like looking at numbers and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
things don't start to happen till like June time.
Right.
Obviously, like mailers, but it's like don't wait for mailers to drop.
So you're saying like making sure everything is ready to go. I don't know if you can hear the helicopter. LAPD. Uh, uh, that's LA. So you're saying like making sure that everything is ready to go so that come May 1st, you're ready to hit the ground running. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because like I'm looking like how much more because we all have the same amount of weeks in the summertime. So I'm just like logging into all this stuff to like look at stats, but like we all have all the same time for the summer, and usually what happens is that from mailer drop till like July-ish, we do really well, and then people don't have their PR programs or the programs set in place. It's the mailers that keep things going, and I'd like to be able to get the PR hours in, starting May, like, because for a while I was paying out like 100 hours a week.
Right.
For a PR. So it's like, if I can start paying out 100 hours, like, I want to spend more money, like if I can pay out 100 hours, and it's worth it. They're saying up 2 or 3 per hour. If I can do that May week 1, that would be nice.
So we'll come back to that and talk about, awesome. And then, I think maybe the last person is maybe someone who's in, kind of a maybe even a DVM or a staff role. I don't know. There's a lot of people on this call. I mean, between the both of us, I think I was looking up some numbers and I was like, I know we had to recruit some people. I think we recruited like 670 people last summer between the two of us, just in the summertime. So that's that's a lot of people. So, do you have a staff this summer, or are you going in with the intention that you're going to be doing a lot of the activities, or what's your development looking like for this upcoming summer?
Yeah, I have a sales manager. I actually was just working on that, again today, but what I'm looking at right now is including sales manager 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I have like
I guess a better question is what are your main thrusts or main things that you need to get done, that you would like to get done with your staff this summer? And then like obviously we'll talk about the things that we're going to do to do that. But what do you see as your vision for your staff this summer?
Vision with the staff, I mean, really what I'd like to be having accomplished, because like I know we have summer school stuff going on. I know that and there's a couple little things with it, because my staff that I had last summer was Callie, who helped out the receptionist, and helped out the interviews, and my buddy Seth, who ran like, I got him back in the business for the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
He ran like 3 interviews a week for me, and that was my staff, was 2 people.
Okay, it's a little different.
And so what I'm excited about, because it's like we can't get our campus game going, like our summer, like for summer school, things like that, right?
Mm.
When it comes to business carding all the high schools, I only had maybe 8 people on the team, and my AMI, my the assistant managers in training, I have more than 8, So for high school flyering, what I look at with AMs is me piecing all my top people, but being able to, and you can hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, sweet. And then like piecing, having those AMs though, running PCs with them and showing them how to PC people properly, because I feel like the 2 things that areas, because recruiting, you said we'll get into that, but the 2 things I really wanted to work on, because I noticed last 2 weeks before we went to Prague, the 2 things I did differently that made us go do like 6 and 7K new biz was I PC'd, all the top people, and I got field training going. So
I remember when we were in Prague and you had like a 7K week while we were away, didn't you? Something like that.
yeah, because we got the field train going, and I PC'd people right before it, and also the assistant managers, them doing their thing.
All right.
But the PCs, I mean, like I think about like the summertime when you don't when you have two people just helping out some interviews, and you get like the non-scheduled PCs in there,
Right.
but like intentional PCs, I don't think we really did any during the summertime. Yeah.
And you mentioned that being a big thrust of yours this upcoming summer is actually doing them, right?
Yeah, because like the goals, like they don't know how to set proper goals. They needed a one-on-one attention. I mean I remember how many times I sat down with my manager and like top AMs, and how appreciative I was because of that.
Right.
And it made me actually feel like special. I mean, everyone is, but I mean it actually made me feel special because they gave time to me.
That's huge. I had a PC with I mean that's been a big thrust of mine is just PCing even my staff. They should get more time than anybody, and I think they weren't. So let's dive in, dude. I want to kind of we actually have some people I think watching. So let's I'm excited. Let's give them some value. For you, like what motivates you, right? You've been on a tear a little bit, not only in the Western region. You've been the number one recruiter on the West Coast, but really, I was looking at some numbers, and you've also been making waves on a national level. I'm trying to pull up your stats here on Vector Live, but launching 345 people. What motivates you? Like what in the back of your head? What's the most important part of, or why do you build a massive team? Because there's a lot of people who take the easier route and take what they get, but you're someone who said that you want to spend money. You're the one that's putting in a lot of money and time and hours into growing a big team. So what's your motivation behind that?
Well, I mean, I want to live obviously a better life. I really think back to like one of my biggest things. It was really funny. Like what motivated me last year was I knew I was coming into a territory when like the whole Vivint thing was like, like I remember one of the managers, I'm not gonna name him, but like one of the managers was like, "Hey, you better look out, because we're gonna out recruit you."
Yeah, right.
And I was kind of getting, honestly, I was really nervous going to Fresno because I was thinking, okay, shoot, like what if they like, but then I started listening to the 10X rule, and it's really funny because these past 2 weeks, past like kind of like month, I've been like a plateau spot where I'm just like, like I'm not really, I wasn't really caring as much. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. Maybe I guess it could be downtime, I guess, things like that. But I started listening to the 10X rule. I finally got back from one of my top reps.
Dude, you gotta listen to it. It's totally different game. It's a game changer if you listen to it.
Dude, yeah. So I was listening to that all the time. I remember when last year on a conference call, like right before we went to Rome, PJ gave it to us. And I listened to the 10X rule, and I remember him saying there is no abundant amount of supply of success. Just because one company recruits a lot of people doesn't mean you can't recruit a lot of people. Because 300 people of even 100,000 is not very many people.
Right, it's not a very big percentage. What is that, 0.3%?
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it throws another company in there too that recruited 300. Then I could also recruit 300 because that just shows that because they're successful, we can be successful too. But I went into it, was like, we got to destroy them. We got to like triple their number. We got to, so like I went into, I remember one of my old managers like said like tenacious, that, like how I attack things. And really the couple things with that is just, it's like a game to me. It's weird to think that, but it's my sport. It's my hobby. It's what I love to do.
100%, dude. 100%. I write that. That's why it was in Vector. Being Mexican and 5'6" doesn't let you play college sports, so I had to find something else to be competitive in.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a sport to me, and it's like I can't stand like you during last summer. It was probably the same thing with me. You with me. is you probably hated, hearing them talk about me. I'll be honest about that,
Yeah, for
right?
sure. It was motivating.
Like,
It was motivating.
dude, like I want to be the person that gets that recognition. I want to be, because it's like, if I'm going to be working, I might as well be the person that people look up to. And also the other thing was, with leadership wise and with like religion for me, being a Christian, it allowed me to be able to help other people out, like with Bible verses, just as something simple as a Bible verse, or like I see somebody struggling and I can give them like a song or something like that that's helping me get through hard times. Just little things, and it's really cool because I've seen people who were like even closet Christians, or like people had like kind of faith, but they were embarrassed to show it. And I'll have like something on my whiteboard that is a motivating Bible verse, right? And yeah, so I mean that's one of the things that just, it allows the more people, like if I was running a church right now, I would be recruiting every single person I possibly could to be able to show them, my way of living.
Well, that's a unique thing that we do in our business is we have that unique opportunity to impact a lot of people and do it in the right way. That's stellar. Okay, so you have some, you talked. You have any goals for this summer? I mean, you launched 300 and almost, you launched 350 last year. Are you going for bigger? What are some things that you're thinking about right now? It's, March 16th. What are some things you're thinking about for the summer?
Yeah, I had all my numbers written down. I'm looking for them. The only number I found, I had the breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
it really
give me your
sucks.
big number, and then we'll talk about some of the ways that that you'll get there.
Yeah, because I mean, I had the breakdown of everything to get the number. It wasn't me just throwing out a random number. But if everything was to go to how I planned, it was 473.
473. Okay, so let's talk about like what goes into launching that. For me, people always ask like, what's your biggest recruiting tip? And I'm like, man, like there's so many things, right? Like recruiting is a process. Like it's an org. You have to be able to run an organization. You can't be, if you're a manager, and remember that if anyone's watching, like there's levels to this, and you can always post questions on. I think there's a way that you can, there's a live chat there, so feel free to jump in if you have specific questions. But like you have to be able to have a machine that can be able to put out over 450 people, right? I mean, I'm looking at your PR numbers from last year. You scheduled almost 3,500 PRs. You scheduled 3,496. Did you know that? You're short of 3,500.
From last year?
From last summer, yeah, in the last summer.
Oh, last summer.
Yeah, last summer. You scheduled 35. I'm looking at. Yeah, I think.
Here, let me
that's
look.
no, I'm sorry. 2975. So just under 3,000. But like that's a machine. I know you probably scheduled maybe a couple, but like, what do you think goes into running a large operation like that?
I mean, yeah, I'm pulling up right now. See, I'm getting a different number. I'm getting 2769, but still 100 off around there. With that, yeah, how many did I schedule? I scheduled 60 of them.
60.
Yeah, 40% show. Boom.
Nice.
But what goes into it? Gain the PR colors. That's the main thing. You break everything down. So it's like, okay, if I want to schedule 100 PRs this week, that means I need to provide 50 hours. How am I going to break that down? 2 people for 25 hours. Am I going to schedule 3 people for 17 hours? 17's around I think it's like 49. Might be 51. But you kind of break down the number like that. And so for me, I personally would rather hire 3 girls for 17 hours versus 2 girls for 25, because if one girl gets sick, then you kind of screwed out of 25 hours.
Right. Do you remember? So, I mean, obviously you remember. How many callers did you have last summer?
We went through We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10's can be 11, 12, 13 PR colors.
Yeah, 13 PR colors over the course of the summer.
Yeah, well, counting me, so 12. The ones that I decided to keep were one, um, 1, 2, 3, 4, like five or six, like half of them.
So there was like a 50% basically retention or 50% 50% retention rate, right? So
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
and I think that's normal, wouldn't you say? Like that's not weird necessarily because I mean in my past in my experience it's tough to find someone who can be not only a good recruiting assistant but also maintain our expectations as district managers. That's like I'm difficult to work with sometimes, and I think when you have to kind of find the right one. So I cut you off. What do you think? I mean, would you say that that's about normal, about 2 to 1 or something like that?
Well, I remember I talked to Mike Muriel, and I that said this, but I told him 1 out of 3 girls is my number.
Mm.
One that's gonna that's gonna stick for several months.
So even less, 1 out of 3.
Yeah, he said that's funny because and it's pretty accurate because mine is 1 out of 5.
Mike's even tougher. Okay.
So like, just knowing knowing the numbers on that, it's just like
Yeah.
so like if you think you have enough girls, keep advertising for more girls.
Right. What's your goal for this summer? How many, like come May 1st, you talked about how many do you want to have on staff come May 1st?
I would like to put out 100 hours like the first week of May.
Divided by how many? What do you think would be
I was
ideal?
looking at it the very first week of May. I only did 37 hours. Second week of May was 54.5. Third week of May was 74.5. Fourth week was 60. And then it jumped to 82, 84, 104, 105. Oh, 129 hours.
What week was that?
Last week,
129?
last week of June.
Last week of June.
Yep. And then it went to, yeah. So there was some dips though, because then I had 111. But then I think this might have been the conference or something like that because I only put out like 58 hours.
Yeah.
And then 83,
sounds
71.
right.
So like, I was looking at it. What was my numbers? I had, it was.
And by the way, you're looking at receptionist time tracking, right?
Yeah. I have it all on a spreadsheet right now.
Yeah, that's a great report on Vector Live.
Oh, wait. Oh, there's a report on there too?
Yeah, there's a report, receptionist time tracking, where you can actually see how many how many hours your receptionists are logged in.
Oh, that would help out too.
And how many actions per they're doing, what their schedule show per hour. It's a delicious report actually.
Yeah, I'm all over. Yeah, I'm all over the reports. I've never looked at that one. I have a spreadsheet, like a receptionist hour spreadsheet that I had.
Oh, dude, I just pay out with that report now. It makes it so much easier to calculate paychecks.
That makes sense. I'll probably end up using that.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
receptionist time tracking.
Yeah, this thing that it had their hours. It had like when they're going to be working, when their breaks were. I have how many they had set, what their show percentage was. It's just like all on right here. I think I paid out 1,053.25 hours.
So you paid out 1,000 hours over the summer?
Yeah.
All right.
No, what number is this?
Well, for people who are watching, like, I think there's levels to that, right? Goose is on the high end. What is your number going to be, right? 500 hours, 750, 1,000. Are you going to, Goose, what are you thinking about for this summer? What would be an ideal number?
I paid out actually 1,209.
1,200.
1,000. Yeah, 1,209. This year is 1,800.
1,800 hours. So you're gonna grow by about what 50% essentially, right? So you're gonna.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it at 2.9 set per hour. That's 4,122. At a 26% show, we had a 25% show. So like we're just talking about growth of 1%. I think it was a 25, yeah. So we had a 25% show.
So breaking down your numbers, I think, is a big thing too. Like just be. You seem like really intent. And I was going to ask you this. Like, you seem really in tune with the numbers, and that honestly doesn't seem like your typical style. You're more of a just kind of, I don't know. At least maybe that's what it seems. What's your CVI?
Merchant builder.
Yeah,
So it's
that sounds about right. So but you seem really in tune with the numbers. So not only tell me how you do it, but what is your kind of reasoning and motivation behind really driving the numbers? Because that's what I've been really surprised by how much you've talked about numbers on this thus far.
It's really funny, but that's pretty much how I am. I've always been like really in tune with math. Words are they're tough, but math. That's what I really appreciate about Jameson being my DVM, because which then kind of annoys me because he's better than me with the numbers. So like I'll mess up every once in a while. He's like, "No, that's wrong. It's this," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right."
That sounded exactly like Jameson too.
Yeah, I didn't know. It's funny because how you perceived me is kind of like how I perceived Jameson. I didn't think Jameson was like a numbers guy until like talking with him, and I was like, oh man, like he really has this stuff. So like that's what I really appreciate about the numbers. Is just like it's so much fun doing math in my head, or like just putting on a calculator, figuring out the numbers, because that's what I did as a rep. I was like, okay, I wanted to sell $100,000. You break down the numbers, and you're like, oh, that's only like this much a week, which is easy. Right, and that's this much a day, which is like $273, something like that a day. It's a lot of fun thinking about that, breaking stuff down to the ridiculous, because then you're able to. Because when I say we're going to set 4,000 over, what was the number? 4,122 PRs.
There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, you're like, that's quite a bit, but then you're like, that's only 2.9 per hour.
Right. So breaking it down to the ridiculous, down to the or what is it down? The impossible down to the ridiculous? I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. So it came to us launching out 331 PRs for the summer.
All right. So how do you do that on a tactical basis? Like, what are you doing every day with your callers, with your receptionists, with your people, to make sure that you're not only getting 3 per hour, 2.9 per hour, but that you're scheduling 4,000 PRs over the course of a 4-month period. That's it's not going to play out exactly like $1,000 per week, but that's basically 250 per week, roughly. So that's still every day you're setting at least 40. Assuming you're calling 7 days a week. So man, there's a lot of people out there who are like, I'm trying to set 40 in a week or 40 in a month, or I'm just trying to get 40 set. So what do you do to drive like the numbers, or drive that daily activity?
Well, I mean, pay out the hours just because the numbers are there. That's the main thing. But driving it, I mean, it also comes down to Grant Cardone with. I mean, I'm going to be listening to the book for like all through summer probably.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, to me, it's like forget. I mean, you want to read. I want to read other books and stuff, but it's just like
during the summer, you just need a 10x.
Yeah, like if there's, I feel like it's just, if it's working, just why read another? I mean, you want to learn more, but it's just like it gets you in that right mindset. So I'm just like, let's just keep going.
The builder gets fired up.
Yeah, it really does. It's such an book that I'm just like, yeah. And then like it's really funny because people listen to it in the car ride with me, and they're like, this is intense. Like, they're like, people disagree with it because they only hear like a couple minutes of it.
Right.
Like listen to the whole thing. Your life will be changed.
I actually recommended it to a friend, a non-vector friend, and he loved it. I told him like he bought the book, and I was like, no, dude, you gotta get the audio, because Grant just yells at you.
Yeah, and he's like, chapter 2. Don't be a little
bitch. All-time favorite chapter title ever, for sure.
Yeah.
He starts off, he's like, I was going to write a book called it, but, I'm just going to name it a chapter. So just 10Xing. How does that play out into like, because it's easy for you to 10x, but you're not calling. So how do you translate that 10x to your callers?
The intensity that you bring, us talking, hey, we're tied with this people, or we're like 20 ahead of them. We gotta get to like 50 ahead of them. We gotta, and just like you're just expressing the competitiveness of, not just because he says competition is for sissies in the book.
Right. Okay.
Competition for
Okay.
sissies. Competition in sports is okay because you maybe drive a little bit hard, but like you don't want to have competition. You want to destroy your competition. You want to, you don't want to be like tied with somebody in a race. You want to be like a whole lap ahead of them, right? So like just talking, how I talk to them is just, obviously merchant, but that little bit of builder in there, where it's just like, hey, we're right now we're in the top 5 in the nation with PR. So if you're not like on that level of like nation or region, go with like division, because to the receptionist, whatever you make a big deal will be a big deal to them. Whatever fires you up will fire them up. If you have nothing firing you up, then they're just not going to make any calls.
For sure.
And then
you got to be fired up.
Yeah.
First, yeah, right. I think people forget that. They're all tired, and then they go in and try and yell at people and try to fire them up that way, and that doesn't work.
Yeah, so like and I'll get right back to what I was saying, but like right now, like my office, we're not doing like the numbers that we need to be doing, but at the same time, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in my office. But I am working on things like my eating habits, my working out habits, some things that like consume so much of your time when you first start doing it because it's always on your mind. I'm doing all that right now when it's like, every time matters, but like easier. I'm doing it right now, so that way it's not going to be a big deal to work out at 6 a.m. in the morning or be eating a salad instead of that burger. Right now it's a big deal, but hopefully in 6 weeks from now, it's natural.
What a huge nugget right there, right? And it's like we want to be doing those habits. Like this is what I tell my candidates. Like it doesn't start May 1st. It's not like April whatever 26th. It's like, it's not like you just turn it on during the summer and all of a sudden you're ready to go. Like you need to be doing those same things today. Like if you're not I remember my branch. Like I forget, someone asked me, like, do you work on Sundays, right? And I'm like, when I'm branching, when I just opened my district, like 100%, like 1000%. There's no days off, like when you're first starting, and I think that you can't turn that on, immediately, right? Like, so you got to be like working up to that. I started working out more, these last couple of weeks because I'm starting to realize that too. I know that like nutrition and your fitness during the summer is like, man, I'd say it's like 15-25% of the game, just you having enough energy to make it to the August.
Yeah. So it goes down to like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So like when I'm running, my last, like 5 minutes of my run, I turn up to an extra level and a couple extra levels, and then I sprint it more than like jogging it. And so it's just a constant reminder that like when you're tired, just you keep going, right? When you're hungry, eat a salad. So when you're like, it just kind of like shows just like when you're struggling, just keep doing the right things.
So I have a question from Ryan Brakefield, who's I believe he's actually in your division, one of the top candidates in our region. He sent me a message on Facebook. He said, so how do you like, what are you doing now over these next few months to make sure that you have the machine and the system ready to go come May 1st? Like what are you doing like now, this week, this month, March, April, to make sure that you have that system ready to go?
The like with my PR callers?
Yeah, with your machine.
I mean, my machine. That's funny you call it that. What I'm doing right now is just getting right, like I said, back in the right mindset. I'm listening to the books that made me feel the way I felt during last summer, to get me in that right, because it's you said 25%, is how 15% is how you eat and how you your workout and all that, the energy that you have throughout the day. Well, it's also the mindset that you have too. So like getting into that the game time, right? Like that it's push period time. Because you can slack all summer, and then SC1 comes as a rep, and you may have shipped like 10K in a month or two, but then you ship 10K in 2 weeks. And is it because you got better at the job? No, it's just you changed your whole mindset on things, right? So it's because your mind's so powerful. So like right now, like I think about like in the summertime, finding every single way to get a PR, any single way. Having scheduled times in my planner where I sit down, or you prep them and then they sit down with the receptionist. Right next to receptionist, they start messaging all their friends on Facebook. I think of rep driving. I think of doing recruiting. Starbucks recruiting. The 5-star recruiting and things like that. But those were happening during the summer, but unintentionally. It just sharp person couldn't make it to an interview. I was like, cool, just I'll meet you like somewhere, right? It was not intentional, but like now it will be.
So just having a lot of different sources of PRs. Just
so many areas. It's just I'm a big fan of layering the business. I'm a big fan of everyone knowing what we're doing in a positive thing, obviously, but just like I want somebody to. It's weird to say it, but like I want somebody to be like, I've gone on this call 10 times because I have 10 different friends working for you. Like. It comes down to like bugging somebody, but it's not like we're calling somebody multiple times from your list. We've got referred to you so many times. Your friend really must want you to work here.
All of your friends want you to work here.
Yeah. So just attacking it in so many ways. Like there's a brick wall in front of you. There's so many ways to get around it. Right.
And one thing that I wanted to raise is you there's a lot of things going on, but you still have just a really heavy traditional PR calling focus, so it still works, right? I mean that the old school style still works, to create a massive organization. So, as we're kind of I don't want to take too much of your time, but what are some things that you mentioned the 10x rule? What are some things that you're doing mindset wise to make sure that come May 1st, you're ready to go?
For mindset wise?
Yeah, or what else are you doing? Like, what else are you going to make sure that gets done before May 1st? Preparation wise, really, just any sort of preparation that you feel is going to help you to be able to lead 450 people this summer.
I mean, with PR callers, once you get that going and you have like a PR manager, you don't really have to run it. I mean, you do have to run it, you drive it. So things of working on is not getting complacent. Because one thing that's happened for me is that because my PR game is really strong, it allows areas to slack and like feel like I'm working because the numbers are there. But it's like, am I working? I remember Dave called me in December. And Dave said to me, I want you to act like you're in Murfreesboro. I want you to act like you're in Murfreesboro in Tennessee because my territory is a lot bigger now. Murfreesboro, I said, was 116,000 people. I still out-recruited a lot of people in Murfreesboro. But my game plan was a little different. My PR game was all right. But I had like 4 high schools, I think. 5 high schools, maybe. Around there. There wasn't like a crazy amount of schools. I had a big college, so like I was working probably a lot harder at that time because you had to fight for recruits. So like things that I would like to get in the right mindset again is my business carding aspect. I was literally, people knew me by name at MTSU, at the big college over there. I was passing out so many cards. It got to the point where like people weren't taking the cards, so it's like posters, right? I was doing off-campus posters. It's a little more tough here in California, but just like I was putting out like yard signs all throughout town, saying like student work, and they're like $3 for each sign. So it wasn't you buy like 100 for like $300, but you get like a crap ton of calls. and people would take them down, and then you learn, do's and don'ts of where to put them. Strategically putting these signs at places. I was going to college apartments where there were like 50%, 60%, 70% college students at these apartments. I was business carding every single apartment door. It's like, I think about being like Flyer and Ninja. Somebody not showing up to training, my second branch training. So it's like, okay, let's go business card them all. So like things that I would like to work on is getting my PR game strong, but because of having the assistant manager team that I'm going to have, I would like to be having my PR game, my business carding game a lot stronger too. Because then by getting more people in through business cards, it's another area of the business to layer, and then which will produce more PRs names from that too.
Well, that's awesome, dude. I mean, for us, that was our strong point, and that's why I wanted to have you on this, ask you and pick your brain. I'm gonna rewatch this recording and do everything that you are doing, and I'm gonna kick your ass this summer. We'll have a little bet and make it fun. If you like, it's there's still some people on. I'm really impressed that some people made it all the way through this. So thank you guys for watching this. But if you if you were someone watching, or if you could give them something to make sure to do after spending this time, or what's one thing that you feel somebody has to do if they want to run a massive organization, summer 2016.
I mean, obviously pay out the hours. Pay out the
hours. Pay out the hours. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap.
Maybe, I mean, really don't be cheap, but be cheap with your eating habits.
Huh. Okay.
That'd be good. Because if you save, $20 a week, that's like, or, save $30 a week on food, that's 3 hours that you could be paying out. That's an extra 6 PRs that you schedule. Yeah. And then you get two of those to show up to interviews. Let's say like one of them launched even. Yeah. I mean, heck, by you not eating out, you get one more lunch per week, right? They sell $1,000. So by not spending $30 on fast food, you can make $250 at them selling, $1,000, 25% return.
Breakthroughs.
Unless you're also a DM, you get a $25 bonus on top of that. So, okay. So with that, I mean, hopefully this was beneficial, or I was talking for everyone else, but I think a big thing is getting the right mindset, listen to the books, read the books that you need to read, do the things you want to be doing right now to get you act like it's kind of like summertime right now. Be business carding more, because there's going to be this layer that you have to push through, and it gets a little annoying at times because you're like, nothing's happening. I'm treading water. My wheels are just spinning in the mud. No traction's happening. And multiple examples of that. It's just there's gonna be a tipping point where just keep on putting more and more into it, and eventually it's just gonna tip, and everything's just gonna work out. So the other thing, I look at the reports. Constantly be looking at the reports. And I wasn't looking at the reports. I was looking at your reports. I was looking at reports in the Eastern region, Central. I was looking, Northeast, Midwest, Southwest. I was looking a lot at Eastern because their PR game is strong. So it's just how am I looking compared to these people? And I mean, comparison is the thief of joy. But at the same time, it allowed me to be able to get a right idea. I'm like, holy crap! I'm looking at. I'm actually keeping up with Trey Ketchum, I'm actually keeping up with Matt King on this stuff, and it was really cool, seeing that, and it motivated me even more because of how you work out, how you do one thing, how you do everything. When I saw myself keeping up at a good pace with people, well, now it's game time. It's the last 5 minutes of this run. Let's turn up a couple more notches and let's actually sprint now. So that's just kind of when you get tired, you just keep working harder. You run faster. So
well, first off, Goose, I want to thank you for spending some time and giving me your time, dude. I have to acknowledge you because I'm so glad you joined the Western region. You're right. When you joined when you came over here, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Who does this guy think he is out here coming out and recruiting in Fresno and think, so, but it's been great to have you, and you approach life with such such joy and like, carelessness in such a good way. And, the fact that you're able to still run a big organization and care about your people is, man, it's inspiring for me. So I'm glad that we got to spend some time. I know that I got a text from John Roach saying that he got some value out of it. So shout out to you and Austin up in Seattle for listening in. But yeah, we're gonna try and do this every week. We'll have someone on. Goose, if you want to jump, be on again. I'd be obviously get a ton of value out of this. But
yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna be talking on the Western Region call, aren't you?
I will be on the Western Region call in a few hours as well. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll see you later.
Cool.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, no problem, dude. But I said it back 10 times now, so now it's getting more implanted inside of me. So like when I talk about the PR program, it now reminds me over and over and over again how important it is.
Yeah, just be reminded of it. That's great. What are you? We go super heavy, so you have the week of finals, which is the last week, then the week before, and then 1 week before that. So really 2 super heavy weeks, and then one where you just try and get what you can, and that like launches us, into some good training classes, even before mailers hit, even before high schools. So it's just like heavy. Right now our standard is $1,000 flyers a day, 1,000 hand-to-hands a day. We'll probably take that up to 3,000. Man, with the staff that we have, we probably should get that up to 5,000 a day and just be on different campuses for longer hours. So that's like the campus plan for us. We make sure that we hit all the high schools. We've got quite a few high schools, so we just hit them. Just make sure we hit the ones that we have. Yeah, graduation letters, is really what we do. We try. I'm doing a, high school visits is next on my list, and but really in the past we've just done congratulation letters.
How do you pass out I've always carded all the cards at the graduation, but how do you do graduation?
Well, for sure you could do that. That's like bonus, right? But so you print a congratulation letter, very almost like a mailer. It's very similar.
I mean, I have the congratulations letter.
Okay. So you kind of got to like, it's different for every campus, but usually they'll walk out, somewhere. There's usually like, a place where people can meet the the graduates and stuff like that. And ideally you want to just get in a spot where, I mean, here's the ideally is you want to be able to talk to the administration and go to an event before graduation, or even get it like sanctioned, where you can like, I've had at one high school, like where they give out their diplomas. I've asked if I can pass them out right there, and they've right when they get their diploma, I'm like, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. So there's kind of like a line. And then there's some times where you have to kind of get crazy, and it's just like a mass of people, and you just try and give a letter to every single graduate. You just say, congratulations, 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 congratulations. And it's funny because I even had like some people who like, they'll take their picture, and I just get it tri-folded. Like some people used to stuff letters, but I just get it tri-folded at Staples, and on the backside it'll say congratulations, so I don't have to stuff anything. And they'll have it like in their picture, they're taking with like grandma and mom, and they have like their kind of like vector letter in the picture, and they're like, congratulations. It's really funny sometimes, but that's it. It's super simple. It's kind of like targeted flyering,
So you just find out where they're walking away from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's some, you just usually if you take an AM or two, you can usually get the class, unless it's like a massive class. But yeah, that's grad letters.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because I need to be, because I'm looking at it. I had 458 touches and launched 37. You had
our efficiency was garbage.
You had 1469, and you launched 113.
What is that? You're saying web?
Yeah. Your mailers, you got
Okay, so I restarted the recording, so this should go on the recording. So okay, so there's something that this is my third year as a district manager, and I've never heard of duplicate PR review. So I have 15,000 duplicate PRs in my system. So Goose, what does that mean?
Okay, so let's say you submitted. We'll just go with the simple number of 100. If you submitted 100 people, and 50 of them were duplicates, only 50 will pop up in the system. At least that's what I'm aware of. So what this means, though, duplicate PR, is that let's say hypothetical guy named Kyle, all right, referred somebody. Let's say Kyle referred James back in 2014 for the job.
Wow. I'm looking. Oh my goodness! I can't believe that this is a place. Why is this not more known? Okay, so keep talking, dude. I'm sorry. I'm blown away.
So basically, what happens is he's from 2014. He referred James already, or he referred Kyle or whatever.
Right.
And Kyle said he wasn't interested, or no showed to the interview, or no showed to training, or something like that, right?
Right.
And so since you referred him, it shows that in the system, so it's not going to allow you to call him because it shows up as a duplicate because his number or name.
Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, I've got someone here on my list. This is not her real name, but her name is Cindy Luhu, right? And it says that back in, it looks like in 2010, she didn't show to an interview. And in 2014, she didn't show to an interview, but she was recommended by someone who just started. So I have the option here of either clicking duplicate, which means that they're not going to be showing up, or PR call list, which means that they're going to show up for my ERAs to see.
Yep. Those
people never showed up before.
Yep.
Oh Lord. 15,000? 15,000. I was wondering where all my names were. I was like, what is this? Okay. All right. Well, so you people
takes a little while.
Learn something. Jesus.
So sometimes what happens is people hit submit multiple times on their phone.
Right.
So they'll submit like 100 of the same names.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's in there.
I see.
So that way it doesn't show multiple of the same names in our system. So yeah, it's our job to go through it every single week that we get PRs. Preferably like Saturday night or like Sunday before PR calling.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, guys. Well, you learned something. I learned something. God, I knew this was something. All right, I'm gonna mention this on the region call too. It's just a bonus. Yeah. All right, dude. I'm gonna try and get some work done before the region call. This was great. I appreciate your time, man.